Hey guys, Ron here. So this is part two. For some reason on my camera I reached the maximum time. I hate to split this up into two videos. I don't know why it stopped like that, but it did. So I'm going to keep going. I was talking about the fact that in this Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, it's been revealed that for whatever reason, maybe starting with Johnny's jealousy and rage towards Amber and his maybe lashing out at her because of her friends. Maybe he thought her friends were starting to use him and abuse him by living in the ECB building downtown LA for no rent. Maybe he thought Amber was taking advantage of him. Maybe he thought she was constantly still cheating with James Franco, which apparently she was, at least as of the day after she filed a restraining order. Whatever it was, they would have a fight, an argument, and it looks as if Amber would go into a physical rage, and Johnny said he would go to hide from her. And what I was saying was that I had to give a little sympathy to Amber in that respect, because it is very frustrating when your partner goes and won't resolve it. I mean, there's this fear that, oh God, how long are they going to stay mad at me? Will this situation ever resolve itself? I guess, and how long will I be mad at them? However, she just had to know, hey, it's not like he ran out in the street and drove away and he came back 3 days later, although I think she said he did that sometimes too. So all very frustrating, all very toxic behavior. But the thing is that Amber failed to produce any evidence, that medical evidence or otherwise, that she was ever beaten, hit, or penetrated by a bottle. Now, like I said, I think that they both have alcohol and substance abuse problems. Johnny Depp has admitted to it. Amber has not. I think she's probably an alcoholic. Others have said she drinks every day. That doesn't necessarily mean a person's an alcoholic, but that she does have probably an issue with it. And she says, like I said in part one of the video, Amber herself said, "I get so mad I just lose it." So what do you do there? You have two people that can't get away from each other. Now, Dr. Curry suggested that Amber Heard is a borderline personality. Now, it's very interesting to me because I had a girlfriend, we were both in our 20s, that I thought was a borderline personality. The reason I thought so is because I literally went to my psychology textbook and I looked it up. This is pre-internet, and later I was discussing it with a therapist who said, yeah, if the way you've described her, she might very well have been one. The circumstances that I had were right away when we got together. Well, basically, the girl I met was very, very charming. The first night we met was great, but she, wanted to go away with me basically the night we met, take me to Vegas, or was it the night of the first date? I can't remember. It must have been the first date. And then she wouldn't go home. She lived in Orange County. I lived up here in LA. It's about 50 miles, but she literally would not go home. I could not convince her to leave. I had to go to work every day. She was not working. She'd be in my apartment or God knows where. She was a gambling addict. She was lying to me about certain things. She refused to let me anywhere near her purse. I don't know what was there. So you see where I'm going here. But she was very sexy, I thought, and I was drawn in because of that. And the bad girl, semi-bad girl kind of thing. She was the only bad girl in my life, really. A couple of them, but one was actually a girlfriend. And it sucked me into it, But I thought she was a borderline because she would not, when we have fights, if I would drive away to get away, she held on to my car antenna, and literally as I was driving away, she ripped the damn thing off the car. Didn't want me to associate with my parents, who she hated, my friends. She got in the middle of all of my friends. There was one time she actually found a way to go out with a group of all my friends without me being there, and then bad-mouthing me. I mean, really, really troubling. And actually, eventually, it's very sad that this girl eventually was killed. She was murdered by a boyfriend who, same thing, they were verbally abusing each other all the time, and he apparently had hit her or tried to hit her, and then he actually killed her. They got into a fight in the car. She shouldn't have been seeing him because she was very serious apparently with another guy, and he killed her in the car. They had a fight, and he's convicted. He's in prison, thank God. But when I heard it, as devastated, I won't say devastated, as I was not shocked, because I was not shocked that something terrible would befall this old girlfriend of mine. I hadn't spoken to her in a few years at that point. At a distance, I felt okay to talk to her. occasionally, but I always feared her coming nearby. And my relationship at that time, my very serious relationship, said, God, I'm afraid we'll never get her out of our lives, your life. Anyway, my point is, if she truly is, Amber Heard, a borderline personality, they do have immense fear of being left, of being abandoned, and there are a lot of psychological issues. In fact, a borderline personality apparently is the scariest one. It's the one in the DSM where psychologists, psychiatrists really don't, as far as I know, I may be wrong, but really don't know how to treat it. So I think these two people, Amber and Johnny, were addicted to each other. I think they pressed each other's buttons. I'm actually kind of surprised that Johnny was able to break free. I think that he did it because, as much as he was probably Amber, he was a man of great means. My point is, he knew he wouldn't be alone very long, and maybe he wasn't alone anymore at that point, and maybe Amber was already with James Franco and others. I mean, you watch a video of James Franco coming up the day after Amber, or maybe it's the same day that she files the restraining order against Johnny. Franco comes up to meet her at almost 11 o'clock at night. She goes down the elevator to meet him. She brings him in, and he's got a big backpack on, and I'm wondering, I mean, was that backpack, overnight? Was he staying the night? Did anybody see what time he left they never checked that. I mean, look, I guess they were sort of semi-separated at that point. She had a restraining order, but some say it's a little soon. But maybe Amber and Franco and others were dating all along. Maybe Johnny Depp, had other lovers all along. I mean, he's certainly popular, rich, handsome, and popular, and there are lots of groupies out there. We don't know. We just know that these two were very toxic for each other. Popular opinion, obviously, is pretty much like, 80% pro Johnny, 20% pro Amber. But, there are varying reasons for that, too. I think that if Amber could have showed photos of herself or gone to the hospital, and if Johnny would have admitted, yeah, I beat the shit out of you, I'm sorry, those words never came out in text or in voice, I think that she'd have a much stronger case. And I also think that the fact that Kate Moss and Ellen Barkin and came out, actually testified at the trial and said that Johnny was never violent towards them. I think Johnny said something very interesting. I think he said, he said a couple of things, but he said, why in my 50s would I suddenly become a guy who self-mutilates and chop off my own finger? I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of the finger incident. And I think he might have also said, why in my 50s would I suddenly become, a woman beater? Because you'd think, I would think, and I know because of my age and Johnny's age,